I like BMWs. Chances are, if you're watching this video, you like BMWs. I like BMWs so much, as a matter of fact, that they are, and I have said this before, and I'm going to say it again, probably my favorite car brand in the world. It goes back and forth between Nissan and BMW. Sometimes I'm always just like, and it's weird because I don't even own a BMW. I own a Nissan. I don't ask, but I like them, okay? I love them a lot, and a lot of people think that BMWs are expensive cars, and they are. They are expensive if you buy them new, but if you buy them used and you know what you're looking for, there are tons of BMWs out there for every single price range out there, and that is exactly what we're going to be going over today. Today I'm going to give you one BMW for every single price range out there up to 25K. So for 25K, 20K, 15, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and even $1,000 BMWs. Obviously, I don't recommend buying any BMW for less than, I would say, 3K. You're asking for trouble at that point, but I am going to give you some just in case that's your entire budget that you have. But without further ado, let's go right into the list with the best BMW for under 25K. Which I think just so happens to be one of my favorite BMWs, the BMW 850i E31. The E31 is, in my opinion, ridiculously underrated. I think these are worthy of being talked about as much as the M1 Pro car. And even the M1 Pro car isn't talked about enough. Like, these cars are so slept on. Some people don't even know they exist. I've seen so many TikToks with an E31 and people are like, what kind of car is that? And I'm like, oh no, it hurts when I see that. But either way, they come with a 5-liter V12 making 296 horsepower in its rear-wheel drive. Obviously, these cars are going to be expensive. They're never going to be below that 20K mark. These were made in the 90s and they're still at 25K. If anything, they're only going to continue to go up. So they could be a good investment, honestly, if you buy one that's clean and you keep it clean. You could make some money off of it in the near future. Not a lot of people modify these things too much. They're not really like super stance, wide body kind of cars, but they're just so perfect, dude. For less than $20,000 is a car that I literally think about owning all the time. It's the BMW 650i F12. There's a bunch of these F12, F13s, F3. I just picked the F12, but you can get pretty much any of them for less than 20K, and they're all so good. Obviously, you can't get an M6 for under 20K, but the 650i is still a really, really good car. They come with a 4.4 liter V8, making 443 horsepower in its rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. You get to make that choice if you want. These things they're offered in coupes, they're offered in sedans, they're offered in convertibles, they're offered in pretty much everything besides a wagon, and every one of them is just perfect. They have, like, in my opinion, a great mixture of luxury plus performance, and there's a reason why people use these things in Grid 3 racing. Like these 6 series, well, it's the M6, but still the 6 series in general is used all the time in like GT3 classes. They're just, oh goodness, and you don't even get me started on the interior. I'm not even an interior kind of guy. I don't really care about the interior, but don't even get me started on the interior. For less than 15,000 doll hairs, however, we are going to be talking about the BMW M5 E60. Ironically, this is probably one of the most unreliable cars on this list, which is hilarious because it's also a relatively new one. Like, they're right there in the middle, I would say. They were built around like late 2000s, early 2010s, around that era, and they're really unreliable, but they're really cool. They come with a 5-liter V12 making 500 horsepower in its rear-wheel drive only. 500 horsepower is actually the highest horsepower number on this list, but again, this car is incredibly unreliable. These cars are notorious for it. They like to blow up. On top of that, when you have to work on them, it's a pain in the ass to work on them because they stuffed the V10 into a little sedan. It is probably not the best idea to actually buy one, if I'm being honest, but if you could find one that's like good enough and in good enough condition and you know what you're doing, dude, these things are going to be a blast. They're 500 horsepower sedan made by BMW. Are they a boat? Yeah. Are they going to handle horribly? Yeah. But do they have 500 horsepower? Yeah. Less than 10K is going to a car that I actually was looking at before I bought my Acura Integra, the BMW 328i F30. This is the second newest generation of the 3 Series. Now we're on to the G30s and all that stuff. Those guys are out now, but this is the one that you probably see all the time on the streets because everybody's driving these around. Every grandma is driving them around. They come with a 2-liter turbocharged inline-4 making 240 horsepower in their rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. Obviously, that horsepower number is not anywhere near the other horsepower that we've been talking about, but that's because this is just meant to be the daily driver. BMW obviously has classes, they have their performance models like the M line, then they even have their higher level models, but they're not performance models like the 335i's and 340i's and stuff like that, and then they have their pretty much daily drivers, which are like the 328i's, and that's what this is. It's just a daily driver, but if you can easily make this thing look cool, it still has the luxury of BMW, and it's more reliable than those high horsepower performance models of BMW anyway. Less than $9,000, however, is going to my favorite BMW of all time. Yes, I like this car even more than the M1 Pro car. Yes, I'd like this even more than the 3.0 CSL. Yes, I'd like this more than even the M5 CS. It's the BMW 635 CSI E24. I love these cars. They're the shark nose BMWs. I've seen a couple in real life, and every time I see them in real life, I freaking get a stiffy. They're amazing. I love everything about them, and if you don't love them, you're wrong. They come with a 3.5 liter inline six, making 282 horsepower in its rear wheel drive. Yes, 280 horsepower in the freaking 80s, buddy. That was a monster of a car back then, and even still today, 282 horsepower is still pretty good, dude. We just went over a freaking 3 Series that's only making 240, and it was built 2 years ago. So it's obviously still a really good car. And they're also just look incredible. They have that retro styling to them. Obviously, they don't hold up in terms of like luxury and interior stuff, but either way, it's still great. Coming in for less than $8,000 is a car I recommend to people all the time if they're looking for a nice little sports car for under 10K, the BMW 335i E92. It is just a do-it-all kind of BMW. It truly is. Like, out of all these cars on this list, I would say the most well-rounded one, the best bang for your buck one, is the 335i E92. They come with a 3-liter twin turbocharged inline six, making 300 horsepower, and their rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. You get the choice. These are just like I said, the perfect combo. They come with a motor called the N54, and while the N54 does have some problems for sure, it's not the most unreliable motor out there. I think it's blown out of proportion a lot with how unreliable they are. They are unreliable. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that they're the best daily driver on this list, because they're not. But they're also not ridiculously they're not like the freaking M5 E60, you know. And on top of that, they're incredible at making power. They look good. They have enough luxury in them to make you satisfied. They're not obviously the best because they're a little old now, but still really good luxury. They handle well. They're lightweight. Everything about them is incredible. And even 300 horsepower out of the gate, that's not anything to sleep on. For less than $7,000, however, we're going to be talking about a 5 Series, the first 5 Series of this list, besides the M5, if you want to count that. The BMW 528i F10. This is a generation that came actually right after the E60, and I feel like a lot of people sleep on this gen because they are dirt cheap, dude. They are really cheap. They're pretty much just like, if you really think about it, they are just a better version of a 3 Series if you're looking for daily driver stuff. It comes with a 2-liter turbo inline 4, making 240 horsepower, and it's rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. That is the exact same motor as the F30 that we just talked about earlier, but it's stuffed into a little bit of a bigger platform with more luxury in it and better, you know, user stuff, you know, it's more comfortable and stuff like that. But it has the same performance. Obviously, since it's heavier, it's not going to be as fast as the F30, but its engine's the same, so it's obviously exactly as reliable, and it's somehow cheaper. It's cheaper, even though it's a 5 Series, which is better. It makes no sense. For less than $6,000, I decided to include at least one of BMW's amazing SUVs. I am not an SUV guy at all, you guys know that, but the X5 E70 is a very cool car. I love any of the X5, X6 BMWs. I think they're really good looking cars. But would I ever actually buy one? Probably not. I mean, if I became a family man, then probably, yeah, I'd buy one, but I'm just not an SUV kind of guy. But either way, if you are, this one comes with a 3-liter turbo diesel inline six, making 265 horsepower, and it's all-wheel drive. Obviously, these cars come with a ridiculous amount of motors. Every BMW does. It depends on which one that you decide to go with. But the X5 E70, for the year that I was looking at, said that it comes with a 3-liter turbo diesel inline six. That's both good news and bad news. Obviously, it's going to be a little bit more unreliable. It's a turbo diesel motor made by BMW, questionable. But on top of that, it's going to be way better on gas. It's going to be more comfortable. Everything else about it is going to be better, besides the reliability. But even then, I mean, sometimes, like Volkswagen, for example, did really good with their diesel motors. So sometimes diesel motors are really reliable. So I honestly don't know. Do your research if you're thinking about buying one of these, because I don't know much about them. For less than 5K, this is the first actual... Well, I guess you can call the M5 E60 a sports car, but this is the one that they were like, yeah, this is a sports car, the BMW Z3. I love the Z3. I think the Z3 is absolutely slept on. I hate the fact that they only came out with one generation of the Z3 and then decided, you know what, that's enough, because it wasn't enough. BMW, we want more. The car comes with a 3-liter inline six, making 224 horsepower in its rear-wheel drive. That is actually the exact same motor that used to come into the 330ci's E46s, which are really good really good cars, really good motors. Everybody wants a 330ci at this point, so why not just want that, but in a smaller, shorter wheelbase, better handling package. That is exactly what you get with the Z3. Obviously, it doesn't have as much space. It's not going to be as comfortable as something like driving a 3 Series is, but if you just want a sports car, the Z3 is a great option. And I think they look good. A lot of people say they look like a clown shoe, and I see where they're coming from. They do look like a clown shoe, but I think they pull it off really well. For less than $4,000, here is the the BMW that everybody knows about, the BMW 328i E36. The E36 truly is just an amazing choice for a project car at this point. Are they getting beat up? Yeah, they're kind of like, they're turning into S13s almost, where you have to be really, really careful looking at these cars. You have to really know what you're looking for when looking at them in order to make an actual like good decision. But either way, they come with a 2.8 liter inline six, making 190 horsepower, and they are rear wheel drive. Like I said before, people thrash these cars like crazy, and that's because they're good at it. They're good drift cars, they're cheap, they have a lot of aftermarket support for them, everything about them is pretty cheap, they're pretty reliable, they get the job done. However, it's questionable because everybody else had had that same mindset before you. So, you know, if you're going to buy one from them, you got to remember that they also thrash that car around. It's gonna need work, and you got to be prepared for that. For less than $3,000, we're going to be talking about an incredibly underrated one, in my opinion, the BMW 740iL E38. Since this is a 7 Series BMW, I want to get this out of the way. These cars do not come with a manual transmission. So if you're looking for one of these, you're got to swap it to a manual, which does suck, obviously. But this is not the car for the guy that wants to be racing. If you want to be racing, buy one of the other ones. This is for the guy that just wants to cruise around comfortably, have a stance car, go to cool shows and stuff like that. It comes with a 4.4 liter V8, making 282 horsepower in its rear-wheel drive. I'm pretty sure that's actually the same like motors that they were putting in the 6 Series at the time, which is pretty interesting, I guess. But like I said, these things are boats. They're very long. The L stands for longer wheelbase or luxury or something like that. So it's even longer with the L. If you just want this performance one, just go with the 740i. But either way, they're really cool looking cars. If you just want a stance car, go to car shows and stuff like that, they're good. Don't let the horsepower fool you. Yes, it has a lot of horsepower, but it's not a fast car. They're just very heavy, and automatic transmissions are poopy. For less than $2,000, like I said, I would recommend staying away from most BMWs for under the $2,000 price range. But if you really have to, then the BMW 325i E46 is an option for you. They come with a 2.5 liter inline six, making 184 horsepower, and they are rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. The E46 is kind of like, in my opinion, just a better version of the E36. A lot of people are going to hate me for saying that. People seem to think that the E46 sucks, and I can see where they're coming from, but at the same time, I don't know, I like it. And if they're going to be around the same price, then why not go for the newer one? You know, it's going to have more horsepower, it's going to have newer technology in it, it's going to have better handling, better, you know, power distribution, stuff like that. It's just going to be better most likely because it's newer. Usually, I know most people hate to admit it in the car community, but usually, yes, the newer means better most of the time. At least, obviously, don't take my word for that on everything. There are some cars that are much better in their older Mitsubishi Eclipse, for example. But either way, the E46 is a great car. I love them. My friend has one. It's fun to drive. Blah, blah, blah. But for less than $1,000, if you're looking to buy a BMW, first of all, I recommend checking into an insane asylum at first. But if you check into an insane asylum and they're like, you know what, this guy somehow still has a sanity, yes, I know it makes no sense, but go ahead, buy that BMW for under 1K, then you can buy a BMW 528i E39. These are not the best option for under 1K. I'm not sitting here telling you that. If you want an E39, I think that's a great idea. They come with a 2.8 liter inline six, making 225 horsepower, and they're rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. They're a good combination. They are a good car. I like them a lot. But I would just recommend saving your money a little bit more and buying one with a little bit less miles, a little bit better taken care of, maybe for 3K, 4K, even 5K. I would recommend saving up. I know it sounds tough, and I know you just want to get that car. You just want to buy it right now. You have $1,000. You want a car. Your money's burning a hole in your pockets. But trust me, saving your money and making a better decision is better than just buying the first car that you see. And these E39s for under 1K are probably not going to be the best deal. Either way, though, the E39 is a good option. I think it's a great option, actually. I think they're really underrated. But just wait until you have a little bit more money to buy a better example of one. But ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this. Really quick, I want to go over something that's been kind of circulating around this channel. A group of people named the Car Collector Feed or something like that. I can't remember their name right now, but those guys, they made a video on me, and a lot of people seem to think that they were hating on me, and they were obviously making jokes and they were roasting me here and there. But as a content creator, watching that video, guys, I want to tell you, they were not hating. You know, the guy even in multiple parts in the video said that he does like my content, but I mess up on things. And you guys, most of you guys call me out on that a lot. You guys call me out and be like, yeah, you messed up here, you messed up there. And I appreciate that. I want you guys to understand, I do not, as much as people think that all YouTubers do, I do not only care about views and money when making my YouTube videos. I like helping people. I know it's a mind-blowing thing to wrap your head around, but I like helping you guys. I remember back when I was your guys' age looking for my first car and I had all these ideas and I wanted somebody to just help me guide you through that. That's what I'm here for. And so when I do this stuff, I don't claim to know it all. And I really hope that you guys understand that. And you guys, you know, if you do see a car in one of my videos that you like, that you guys are like, oh wow, I might want that you do more research on that car and don't take everything I say 100% accurately, because I obviously make mistakes. I'm one man, I'm 23 years old, I don't know everything that I'm talking about. There are a lot of things that I don't know that I think I do know, and I say, and it's wrong. So this car collector feed guy that made a video on me, even though it may seem to you guys like he was hating on me, and yeah, there were some roasts in there that were uncalled for, he's a content creator. He has to entertain. Entertaining people to him was, you know, poking fun at me in some points, and I understand that. Overall, I think the video was actually very respectful, and if anything, it was just going to help more people out than my video was, and I appreciate that, because like I said, I like helping you guys. So if another person's going to come out here and be like, hey, I like what you're doing, but if you're trying to help people, here are some things that they should know, then I have no problem with that whatsoever. So please stop, you know, causing any issues with that. I have nothing against that guy. I don't think he has anything against me. If he does, he can say something. I'll probably ignore it, but if he does, whatever. But yeah, don't worry about that. I'm not worrying about it. It was a nice video, and if anything, I think you should actually go watch it. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. Das Vidanya, and have a nice night.